Welcome to the Vista Community Foundation's 2020 Salute to Veterans event. For those of you who are outside of the Vista, Nebraska area, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Mayor Douglas Kindig and have been honored to serve as mayor since November of 2005. We are excited to bring this event to you virtually this year so that we may continue to show our support for the veterans and their families who have served our great nation. I would like to start the event by offering thanks from the City of La Vista and the Vista Community Foundation to all who have served and are currently serving in our armed forces. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank the veterans you will see throughout this program. Our local veterans are a vital part of our community, and we truly appreciate the time and effort they put into helping make this production possible. My final thank you goes to all the companies that helped partner with us to make this event possible. It was not an easy decision to move this to a virtual event. We truly will miss seeing all the men and women who serve our country and their families in person.
Hello, my name is Neil Kraus, and I am the current president of the Vista Community Foundation and also vice president market manager for Access Bank. I will be tonight's MC, and I want to welcome you to tonight's event. I hope you enjoy.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
On behalf of the Vista Community Foundation, I would like to take a moment to thank our sponsors that made this great event happen.
The POW MIA, or Missing Man Table. The POW MIA Missing Man Table ceremony is a dignified and solemn moment in many formal dinners and other occasions. There have been many different narratives written for the ceremony, but the symbolism was quite constant. It involves a table, usually set off to the side, with a single chair. The table is set with a white tablecloth, a single candle, a book of faith, an inverted glass, and a single red rose in a vase, around which is tied a yellow ribbon. Set at the table is a plate containing a slice of lemon and a small amount of salt. There is nothing more poignant than witnessing the empty chair sitting at a POW MIA table with incredible significance for every displaced feature of this ritual. Witnessing the ceremony that accompanies this memorable event brings more than just a single emotion. The ceremony is performed many times throughout the year, at official military events in remembrance and in honor of all POW and MIAs. I would now like to explain the meaning of the items on this special table. A slice of lemon reminds us of their bitter fate, captured or missing in a foreign land. A pinch of salt symbolizes the tears of our missing and their families. The lighted candle reflects our hope for their return. The bound text is a book of faith to represent the strength gained through devotion to sustain those lost from our country. The glasses are inverted to symbolize their inability to share a toast. The chair is empty. They are missing. Moment of silence. Let us now raise our glasses of water in a toast to honor America's POW MIAs, to the success of our efforts to account for them, and to the safety of all now serving our nation.
Walter Ted Carter Jr. began his tenure as the 8th president of the University of Nebraska system on January 1st, 2020. The Board of Regents appointed Carter following a national search that engaged hundreds of Nebraskans within the university and across the state. Carter earned his bachelor's degree in physics and oceanography from the U.S. Naval Academy. He holds educational credentials from the 18-month-long Navy Nuclear Power School, the U.S. Air Force War College, the Naval War College, and the Armed Forces Staff College. He is a naval flight officer with more than 6,300 flying hours and has completed 2,016 carrier-arrested landings, an American record. Carter is a distinguished Flying Cross and Bronze Star recipient. He graduated from the Navy Fighter Weapons School, Top Gun, in Miramar, California, and was commander for the Carrier Strike Group 12, in which he commanded 20 ships, 2 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, and 2 carrier air wings that were deployed to Afghanistan in the Arabian Gulf.
Hello, my name is Ted Carter. I'm the president here at the University of Nebraska, and I'm really proud to have a few minutes here to speak to you on this special occasion, Veterans Day. First, I want to say thank you to the La Vista Foundation for supporting this great event and asking me to say a few words on Veterans Day. La Vista Foundation is very supportive of veterans. I know they do quite a bit for Post 32, American Legion Post 32, in support of their veterans. And on this special day, it's great to be talking to you right here from Nebraska. Now, as many Nebraskans know, I've been the university president for just a little bit under a year. And prior to my arrival here in Nebraska, I served 38 years in the United States Navy, retiring just about a year ago as a Vice Admiral of the United States Navy. It was the honor of a lifetime to wear the cloth of our nation, and I had experiences that took me all over the world. I lived in all 4 corners of our country. I lived overseas. Our family was raised in New England, but we lived everywhere that you could live. You know, on this special day, I reflect not only just my time wearing the cloth of our nation, but what it means to be a veteran. You know, for all of us that serve, whether we wear a button or a pin that indicates the branch of service we were in, or maybe some designation, wherever we go, whether it be airports or local communities, we often hear, "Thank you for your service." And I'm always a little bit uncomfortable when I hear that, not because I don't feel like I earned some thanks for supporting the Constitution, supporting the people of the United States, but I think it was just doing my job. And for us veterans that hear that, I would like to say, maybe if when somebody asks you to say, "Thank you for your service," you should hear it maybe in a different tone. Maybe what people are really saying is, "Thank you for your trust." Because we as American servicemen have earned the trust of the American people. It's a unique opportunity that we had to serve. None of us served for any personal gain. None of us served to gain any type of glory or medals. Most of us didn't make very much money serving in the military, but it always gave us a chance. And when we supported the Constitution of the United States, what we basically were doing was saying, we believe in something bigger than ourselves. And the American military man and woman, soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guardmen, all of them collectively have earned the trust of the American people. In fact, at a time today where very few institutions are trusted anywhere, it's rather unique that the military man and woman are the most trusted institution in our country. So for our veterans out there, when somebody says, thank you for your trust or thank you for your service, interpret that to say, thank you for your trust. It's a pretty exciting time to be in the military. There's so much going on out there. We're still attracting the very best of Americans to serve in our armed forces. But for those that have been there before, whether they be World War II veterans, Korean veterans, Vietnam War veterans, Gulf War veterans, I would like to say thank you for your service and thank you for the trust that you've earned from the American people. So on this day, Veterans Day, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to address all veterans and those who support our veterans. And to all our veterans out there, thank you for what you've done. Thank you for all that you continue to do to support our military men and women. God bless America.
I would like to introduce the NJROTC Armed Drill Team. Chuck Hagel was the 24th Secretary of Defense, serving from February 2013 to February 2015. He is the only Vietnam veteran and the first enlisted combat veteran to serve as Secretary of Defense. Hagel served 2 terms in the United States Senate representing the state of Nebraska from 1997 to 2009. Hagel was a senior member of the Senate Foreign Relations, Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs and Intelligence Committees. He chaired the Foreign Relations, International Economic Policy, Export and Trade Promotion Subcommittee, and the Banking Committee's International Trade and Finance and Securities Subcommittees. Hagel also served as the chairman of the Congressional Executive Commission on China and the Senate Climate Change Observer Group.
Happy Veterans Day. I want to wish Mayor Kendick and all the leadership of the La Vista Veterans Day celebration a happy Veterans Day, and to thank all of you for what you've done for our country, what you continue to do, and the major contributions you make. To my friend Mark Dreiling, thank you, Mark, for your continued service and leadership in these areas, and particularly your service with Congressman Bacon. You asked to talk a little bit about the 75th anniversary at the end of World War II. That's a pretty special time for all of us because of the last 75 years and how this country, all of us, have benefited from those sacrifices and that service that our fathers and mothers, grandfathers, grandmothers, uncles, aunts provided to this country 75 years ago. It was a defining time, as defining time in world history, especially American history, as there's ever been. Our involvement, our leadership with our allies, and our victory in World War II assured victories that meant saving democracy against totalitarian governments and authoritarian rule. We've built on that over the last 75 years. It'd be a whole different world today if the war would have turned out differently 75 years ago. I think also when we speak of defining times, this is a defining time for America today. It's a defining time in the world. After 75 years, I think we've taken a lot of this for granted. And you see now a lot of questioning about, well, do we need alliances? Do we need allies? Do we need to really be as global as we are? Shouldn't other countries be doing more? Well, a fair question, but let's analyze that for a minute. And let's review the last 75 years. The United States led in building a world order that was pretty special after World War II. It had never been done in the history of man. We built coalitions of common interests. Those are organizations, institutions like NATO, collective security, like the United Nations, like the IMF, World Bank, General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade, which is now WTO, dozens of international development banks and organizations. And the reason we did that was to provide institutions of support for the common interests of all people, not just the United States, but all people. And it's worked pretty well these last 75 years. No World War III. Every leader in World War II went to their graves worried about a nuclear exchange between the Soviet Union and the United States and a World War III. Neither has happened. Doesn't mean it can't happen or won't happen. But there's a reason it hasn't happened in 75 years. The first 50 years of the 20th century were far different. 2 world wars, the most savage wars, most casualties the world has ever known. We've had problems. We've been involved in regional wars. We're still involved in 2 wars. I was involved in one of those wars in Vietnam, 1968, the worst year, when we sent back 16,000 dead Americans in 1 year. My brother Tom served side by side with me. So I have some sense of it. My father served in World War II. My mother and her sisters worked in armament manufacturing plants in Nebraska. Just like your grandparents and your mothers and fathers and uncles and aunts and cousins, they all served. All of America served. I think there's some questioning now based on, we've taken a lot for granted the last 75 years, but I think also because there is a clear breakdown in trust of our institutions and confidence in our institutions, in our leadership, not just political leadership, but every institution in this country is being challenged in some way. That's okay to question, but we need to understand that the organizations that we built after World War II, as relevant as they were then, I think are more relevant today than they've ever been. Because the world is now a global community with 7 billion people. Demographers tell us that we're going to put another 2 billion on the face of the earth by 2050. Now, if we're having some problems today, we can imagine what 2 billion more people are going to do to complicate the situation. These challenges that we all face today are global challenges. Start with the environment. There are no boundaries on environment. We look around our country and we see what's going on within our environment here. Trade, economics, national security, intelligence sharing and gathering, our military, the strength of our military, projection of power. All of that is wrapped up in one global dynamic. We wouldn't have the ability to project power in the United States and around the world with our American forces if we didn't have alliances, because we wouldn't have bases around the world. We have bases all over the world that allow us to provide for our ships and our aircraft, our infantry. Yes, it benefits those areas, but it benefits us too. It benefits us as much or more than other countries. So I think this is a good day, this day, Veterans Day, to celebrate our veterans, the contributions they've made to this country, what you've all done for this country, what you continue to do for this country. At the same time, reflect and we remember what's worked. Civilizations all must adapt and adjust at all times. Those institutions that we built after World War II are not facing the same kind of challenges that they did 75 years ago. We have different challenges today. Global pandemic, let's start there, that we're right in the middle of. COVID-19, so is every country in the world is dealing with it. That's not just a United States issue, that's a global issue. And we've got to understand this won't be the last one. It's just like the environment. It's just like the common interest of everything we do, starting with the air we breathe and the water we drink. So to have an opportunity like this day to think about all that, maybe to renew our sense of purpose, each of us individually, but as a country, and acknowledge that we can get better. We can do things that are better, smarter. We adjust, we adapt, and adapt all organizations, all institutions. You know, when this great democracy was formed 250 years ago, we didn't get it all right at the beginning. That's why we have 27 amendments to the Constitution, because we needed to fix some things. We still need to fix some things. But we're the only country that has this unique ability to self-correct. Just like a human being can self-correct. This country self-corrects. That's what we do. And so that's why I think we're very much in a defining time today. Different circumstances, different details, different dynamics than 75 years ago after the end of World War II. But still, a defining time for our future, and we build on to those 75 years. We are strengthened and enlightened, and we build on to what our veterans did for us in this country, the citizens, to give us all, I'm a baby boom generation product, to give us all a better life, more opportunities to do better things and leave the world better than we found it. So happy Veterans Day. I'm proud to be a veteran. I'm proud of what you've all done and what you continue to do. Thank you.
At this time, we will be honoring the different branches of service. If able, please stand when you hear your song.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would now like to salute the men and women who have paid the ultimate sacrifice and the veterans who have left this earth. A military funeral for an enlisted or retired military person can be quite impressive and almost heart-wrenching at the same time, filling the hearts of all in attendance with overwhelming pride. It's a beautiful, graceful, and respectful acknowledgement of the deceased one's service to America, be it Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, Coast Guard, or Space Force. Every branch of the United States of America Armed Forces has a funeral protocol that can be included with the religious ceremony of choice. The protocols vary with each branch of the armed service, but it is usually performed at the very end and may include, but is not limited to, pallbearers at the gravesite, presenting an American flag to the families, and honoring 21 gun salute, 7 soldiers firing 3 times each. Ringing of the bell, the playing of taps by a bugler or bagpipes, and the lowering of the casket. As we salute our veterans of past, please rise if you are able. The bell will be rung 3 times at 20-second intervals for 7 times. This will be followed by the 21 gun salute and taps. Thank you, veterans and your families. May God bless you, and may God bless America.
Time, march! Detail, halt! Right, peace! Order, halt! 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 Assume fire position! Halt! Aim! Halt! Aim! Ready, front! Present! Halt! Left! Peace! Forward! Halt! Left! 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 Left!
We would like to thank all of our local service members who helped us make this project possible. Thank you to all who have watched our Salute to Veterans program, and thank you to all of our military service members and their families for everything you do for our country. Happy Veterans Day, and God bless America.